G'day, COPA Johannesburg. This is Ian Gertenbach here with the recurring weekly segment of This Week in Music History. Today I am joined by...
Vicky Katz. Oh. Hello.
nice to have you here. I believe this is your first time presenting.
It is, so just go easy on me.
I shall try. Okay, cool. Let's get things started out. So it's also just for future reference, all credit for this information goes to thisdayinmusic.com. They do excellent work there. Right. Okay, on Monday in 1964, the Supremes, the popular girl group that were actually the inspiration behind the movie Dreamgirls, started a 2-week run at number 1 on the US singles chart with Where Did Our Love Go?, the group's first number 1. So that was actually... No, a lot of people know of the movie Dreamgirls, but and there's your point of reference there as well. But a lot of people don't know is that that group was actually the Supremes. So, what happened on Tuesday there, Vicky?
So on Tuesday in 1967, enjoying a wild birthday party, Keith Moon, the drummer with The Who, drove his Lincoln car into a Holiday Inn swimming pool. He was attempting to make a getaway after the police had been called in to curb the out-of-control festivities.
Oh, that Keith Moon, and he eventually died of a bit of substance abuse or whatever, but he was known as one wild man.
Well, it's the only way to do it with wild musician parties.
Yeah, exactly. Reverse your car into a pool. All right. Anyways, on Wednesday in 1975, Queen started recording the iconic song Bohemian Rhapsody at Rockfield Studios in Monmouth, Wales. The song was recorded over 3 weeks. Freddie Mercury had actually mentally prepared the song beforehand and directed the band throughout the sessions. So he had a vision, and obviously that vision was quite tangible because it turned out the way it did, but it's quite impressive. A lot of people think, vocalists tend to be, just the pretty face behind the microphone, but I think this also says a lot for Freddie Mercury and his level of musicianship, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, he was just an absolute genius. All of the amounts of... enthusiasm he brought into all of his music just got everyone pumped up. And I mean, I don't think I've ever heard Bohemian Rhapsody without singing along to it.
Exactly.
It's just one of those songs, you know?
It's almost like a challenge, like try not to sing along to Bohemian Rhapsody if it comes on. All right, and then what happened on Thursday there, Vicky?
So in 1965, 2 female Beatles fans hired a helicopter to fly over the house the Beatles were renting in Beverly Hills, California, and jumped from the helicopter into the swimming pool. That just takes being a groupie to a whole other level.
Exactly.
Stalker-like.
You know, a lot of people in this day and age, they hear of the Beatles, and especially the younger people, they kind of aware that the Beatles were rather famous at a point, but I don't think a lot of people realize to what extent people were actually that into them as a band. I mean, you had screaming fans, you had all sorts of people stalking them, you had people jumping from helicopters into swimming pools.
That's crazy.
Just crazy times, right? Okay, and then on Friday in 2003, Rolling Stone magazine named Jimi Hendrix as the greatest guitarist in rock history. Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Keith Richards, Chuck Berry, and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and as well as Ry Cooder also made the top 10 list. What do you think of Jimi Hendrix there, actually?
Wonderful guitarist. I really admire him because I can't play guitar at all. Great inspiration.
And I am a guitarist, and I have the greatest respect and admiration for him as well. So I think it was only fitting.
Yeah, a lot of great names there as well. Hey, a lot of classic musicians that made that list as well. Wow.
Exactly, and I think also a lot of the reasons behind Jimi Hendrix's sort of mystique and his legendary status is a lot of it, I think, has to do with the fact that he died so young. He was part of that 27 club of musicians and celebrities that all seem to weirdly die before they reach the age of 28. And a lot of people say that if Jimi Hendrix had continued to live, or if Kurt Cobain had continued to live, etc., those people might not have been as legendary and as famous because they would have had, this is a bit of a negative thing, but they would have had more time to mess up their careers and kind of fade away into obscurity.
No, I actually completely agree with that. I think their whole mystery and this whole dying young kind of trend that actually seemed desirable when you're that young and you've got the booze and the all of the drugs and stuff. It seems like just a desirable way to leave your legacy in a way and go down as a sort of martyr for music.
Which kind of makes sense, because I mean, like, here we are sitting about them talking about them to this very day, but I wouldn't recommend our listeners out there to do that, though.
No. Let it die with them. Let it not continue.
All right. And then on Saturday, what happened there, Vicky?
Okay, so in 1991, Pearl Jam released their debut album, 10, the group's most commercially successful album, which has sold over 13 million copies, produced 3 hit singles, Alive, Even Flow, and Jeremy. Actually, if I'm completely honest, I'm not sure I've heard any of them.
Oh, really?
I may have. I'm very bad with names, so if I hear it, I might.
Okay, well, Alive is probably... Alive and Even... I don't even know the song Jeremy all that well, but Alive and Even Flow are definitely 2 of their more popular ones. If I had to jog your memory... like Even Flow was in the verse, it was like da 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 kind of thing. And then Alive, it was like, ooh, I feel so alive kind of thing. But one of those situations, if you heard it, you would probably know it.
Yeah, no, probably. Very bad with names.
All right, and then lastly, on Sunday in 1972, Alice Cooper was at number 1 on the UK singles chart with Schools Out. Cooper had said he was inspired to write the song when answering the question, what is the greatest 3 minutes of your life? Cooper said there's 2 times during the year. One is Christmas morning, and the next one is the last 3 minutes of the last day of school.
Wow.
I think we can all empathize with that a little bit.
Very agreeable. Those last 3 minutes of anticipation, waiting for that break.
Oh man. And the thing is that we've actually got it easier being at a cool place like COPA, you know, where, oh no, how horrible, we have to study music, how boring and lame, you know, whereas people are stuck in high school, people are stuck in universities doing things they don't necessarily want to do.
Yeah.
So I think we should probably take a step back and be grateful and maybe not look forward to those last 3 minutes as much as other people would, but...
No, we're definitely the exception here. I mean, we can't compare. When we go on a break, we're a bit sad that we're leaving.
I'm actually quite keen to get back into the system, because you know, I'd rather be bored here than be bored at home doing nothing. You
exactly.
Know. All right. Well, that wraps up our segment for this week in music history. Please, if you have any thoughts or any extra statements to make about the information that we have so kindly given to you, please feel free to interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with the handles #CopaArtist, #CopaRadio, and #CopaLife. Please be part of the conversation. We would love to hear what you guys have to say on these matters. Vicky, any parting thoughts?
Stay in school.
It's the second time I've heard that today, but...
oh, no. Okay, let's do another one. Don't do drugs. That's the other cliche. Heard that one.
Again, the second time I've heard that today, but very, very good information.
Thank you. I thought just, we need to reiterate it as much as possible.
It should be.
Needs to be said.
It should be. Unless that drug is love.
Okay.
Then do as much love as you possibly can. Overdose on the love, people. But that brings us to a conclusion for this week in music history. Vicky, thank you so much again for joining me.
Thank you for having me here. It was
and then
thrilling.
Hopefully in the future we can do this again.
Definitely, I'd love that.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you again for listening, COPA, Johannesburg, and the listeners of the world at large. Have a spectacular day.